Today's stage starts in Lannemezan, a small town in the Hautes-Pyrénées, sitting on a plateau between the Pyrenees foothills and the plains of Gascony. And Lannemezan sits right in the heart of some of the finest bean-growing country in France. It sounds like an unlikely opening for a food story. But stay with me, because the Haricot Tarbais is one of the most extraordinary ingredients in the southwest. And it's a story that starts in the New World, crosses the Pyrenees, nearly disappears entirely, and then comes back stronger than before. This is Fabulously Delicious, the French food podcast. And welcome back to the Food Tour de France. I'm your host, Andrew Pryor. Today we're talking all about the Haricot Tarbais. The Haricot Tarbais is a large white bean with an exceptionally thin skin and a flesh that is melting, soft, and without the floury, starchy texture that puts people off other beans. The Tarbais does not disintegrate. It does not go chalky. It holds its shape through low, slow cooking while becoming genuinely yielding and creamy in the inside, which is what you need in a cassoulet, in a garbon, in any of the great slow-cooked dishes of the southwest, where the bean is the foundation and the soul of the dish. It's a bean that has earned its reputation through texture and flavour rather than through, marketing. And in the southwest of France, it is considered simply the best white bean there is. It holds a red label, the Label Rouge, awarded in 1997, and a PGI, or Protected Geographical Indication, that was awarded in 2000. The production area is centred on the northern part of the Hautes-Pyrénées department. The only variety authorised for the Label Rouge is the single seed line called Alaric, selected by INRA in the 1990s from 24 seed lines sourced from farms across the department. It's a bean of the New World. The common white bean that originated in Peru and arrived in Europe in the 16th century, as we mentioned in the cassoulet episode. It was reportedly brought to France in the luggage of Catherine de' Medici from Spain and the Iberian Peninsula. It crossed the Pyrenees and established itself in the plains around Tarbais, the major city of the Hautes-Pyrénées, from which the bean now takes its name. At the beginning of the 18th century, the foothills and plains of this part of the southwest turned out to be ideal growing territory, so the bean flourished. It became embedded in agricultural and culinary life in the region. For well over 2 centuries, the haricot was a constant presence in the kitchens and the fields of the Hautes-Pyrénées, grown traditionally up the stalks of maize, corn, which gave the beans natural support as they climbed. They were a fundamental part of the polycultural farming that characterised this part of France, the corn and the bean growing together in the same field, the bean fixing the nitrogen into the soil and benefiting from the structure of the corn plant. A practical, ancient relationship between two crops that had come from the same part of the world and arrived in South France together. And then the 1950s happened. The mechanicalisation of French agriculture and the shift towards monoculture, the pressure of industrial food production. The haricot, like so many specific regional varieties, went into serious decline. By the 1980s, it was almost disappeared entirely. The old varieties were being lost. The knowledge of how to grow them was dispersing. The connection between the specific bean and the specific landscape was fraying. A revival began in 1986. A group of producers in the Hautes-Pyrénées decided the bean was well worth saving and began the work of bringing it back, selecting the best seed lines, formalising the growing methods, building the quality standards that would eventually lead to its red label in 1997. It took 20 years of committed, patient work, and it worked. The haricot, now firmly re-established in a territory, grown by producers and harvested by hand, fresh beans picked in pods from the end of August to the beginning of September, and the dry bean harvested from the plant from the 20th of September through to mid-November, entirely by hand, every single bean, which tells you something about the level of care involved and why the price reflects that care. that care. The growing process is worth understanding. The soil is prepared in spring and the beans are sown in mid-spring. As the plant develops, netting is put in place for support. The traditional corn-stalked method has largely given way to plastic nets for commercial production, though many individual growers still use corn today. Throughout the growing season, the producer manages fertilisation, irrigation and pest control, including a particular enemy of the bean weevil. The grains are stored in a freezer at -35 degrees for 24 to 48 hours to kill any insects. Then they're transferred to a refrigerator between 0 to 4 degrees for the same period to avoid thermal shock, and then stored at room temperature until sown. What do you do with these delicious white beans? Well, the short answer is the greatest dishes of the Southwest. The cassoulet, which we covered in the Carcassonne stage, is the most famous application. The Tarbais is one of the 3 traditional beans used in a cassoulet, alongside the Ignon de Cassoulet and the Coco de Palmiers. And its ability to hold its shape through slow cooking while remaining genuinely creamy makes it arguably the finest of the 3. The garboule, the great thick vegetable and meat stew of the Basque Country, and the Gascon foothills, made with cabbage, confit duck, salted pork and whatever the season provides, is another natural home for this bean. And the combination that perhaps shows it off most elegantly is the one that you find in restaurants of the Southwest every spring. Tarbais beans with pouliac lamb. That specific combination, the lamb from the salted meadows near the Gironde estuary and the beans from the foothills of the Pyrenees, is one of those pairings that makes you understand why French regional cooking is what it is. If you're buying them, you should look out for the rare Label Rouge certification on the packaging. The fresh bean available for a short window in late August and early September is extraordinary. Quicker to cook than the dried version, but with a tenderness that is genuinely different in character. The dried version, which is available all year round, should be soaked overnight before cooking and then treated gently. Long, slow, never too vigorous. Cooked in good stock if you have it, and a little fat to help the beans along. Don't salt them until they're fully cooked. The thin skin is one of the great qualities, and harsh treatment of it with early salting will compromise it. The haricot is the kind of ingredient that rewards attention, not because it's fashionable or exotic, because it has been grown in a specific place in a specific way for a specific variety with a specific purpose. It nearly disappeared. People decided it was worth bringing back, and the southwest of France, in my opinion, is considerably better off for it. Today, the tour leaves and heads out into the foothills, and somewhere in the fields around the town, the Haricot Tarbais is quietly growing up its nets. It has been doing this in the corner of France here for 300 years. Watch the race, and then cook some beans.